Alright, what's up YouTube fam? So I wanted to do a little follow-up video. If you had seen the video, I think it was maybe it was about 3 days ago, I was calling a head and shoulders pattern on the S&P, which ultimately did not construct. It did not take form. So I wanted to call out my own mistake and see I had this see, we can even see I had this head and shoulders drawn. I thought this was going to make a right shoulder right here. Ultimately, your CPI data came back really good, and then you had a nice jump up here. So I want to be transparent and clear about when I'm correct and when I'm wrong on this channel, and I want anyone that's viewing this channel to have the understanding that the markets themselves are very, very unpredictable beasts. All you can do really in the stock market is try and understand what's happening in real time. Try and understand what it's telling you. Don't try and predict the future. That is a fool's errand. You see any of these people on Twitter, if we go, let's go tech dev. So this guy's super popular technical analysis guy. So he's got this tweet pinned from October 28th. I've covered this a couple times, where he's got this cycle theory, and he was saying, oh, we're just testing this all-time high, and then eventually you're going to make this other cycle up here, and then this blah, 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 blah. Okay, trying to predict the market is the stupidest thing you could possibly do as a trader, in my opinion. Understanding a risk-reward during a trade is not predicting a market. I don't think. I think that is a different type of thing, but that's a conversation for a different time. But anyways, trying to say, oh, this is where the cryptocurrency market is going to be in 5 years. That is just like, just the dumbest thing you could possibly do to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You're not that smart, tech dev. No one is that intelligent where they can look out 5 years into the future and say, oh, you're just going to do this cycle again. Oh, reversal, blah, 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 blah. Everyone can make cool charts, okay, guys? Everyone can make really cool looking charts. You know what? See, here's some cool looking charts here, and I can sell. I could probably, if I wanted to, I could convince you just based on this chart that Bitcoin's going to $5,999 million, okay? You can say anything. Anyone can say anything. What you have to do really is learn how to take a practical, pragmatic view about what's happening. You really shouldn't be striving to predict where Bitcoin is going to be in 2 years from now, and how much tendies you'll have if you invest X amount of dollars here, yada yada yada. So let's look at Bitcoin. Now that I've done that rant, I drew this line a couple days ago. This was on the last video I did. So I said you're retesting this technical level and you'll probably get rejected, which is what happened right here on Bitcoin. So your MACD looks really poor right now. That's this indicator right now. MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence, and it basically shows where your moving averages are sitting. So right now this blue line is above this orange line, so that would indicate bullishness to me, and that explains this huge V pop up, 16.5%. But if you take a look at it, you're kind of running out of steam. I would think it's probably going to do something like this, maybe come down, or you'll test it and then you'll go back up. Only time will tell. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you which way it's going, because that's completely fucking disingenuous. And anyone who tells you, oh, the crypto market's going this way, oh, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, they're lying to you, and it's probably to pump their own bags. Think about it. Most of the fucking time in crypto, there's some fucking asshole behind the scenes doing insider shit, just stealing your money every time. I mean, FTX, Celsius. Who knows what the next one's going to be? Okay, the precedent's been set. So anyone that's telling you, oh, buy this, do that, complete absolute bullshit. All right? So let's take a look at this other metric. This is the RSI, Relative Strength Index. So you can see right here when Bitcoin dropped down, you went oversold, which means basically it's kind of like a measure of where your average price should be. So this is obviously a huge dump. And when your RSI is this low, this typically means you'll try and go back to average or the mean value, which is 50, so not oversold or overbought. I'll have to do some more reading up on the RSI to try and explain that better. I know my explanation right now isn't really doing that well, but let's take a look at what the RSI is telling us. Kind of is similar to the MACD. You went oversold here. This yellow line is your moving average. So you got above your moving average, but now you're testing oversold area again. When you go oversold, price tends to shit its pants. So if the RSI can hold that level, that'll be great news, and maybe you do some consolidation and move up, and Bitcoin goes like that and moves back up into this area, kind of around 18.5. But I think if you take a look at this on the daily, because we were on 4-hour time frames, and you got to remember your time frames for these indicators mean completely different things depending on how you look at it. So like, look at this RSI on the daily, completely different story. You're still way oversold. Now that doesn't mean you can't stay oversold and continue down here. I mean, it's happened before. Here, here, here. I mean, you can remain quote unquote oversold, but that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, price is immediately going to shoot up. Look at this. You were super oversold right here back in May, and then you got back to 50%, but what happened right after that? You went down another 30-40%. So these are lagging indicators at best. They give you a rough idea of what's going on in the markets currently, but they really have a little to a small bearing on what's going to take place. And if you're trying to trade, if you're trying to enter and exit positions, you're obviously trying to find an edge, and you're trying to make money ahead of time. You're trying to beat the curve. You're trying to beat the market so you can make a profit. I think that's a silly idea. You can try and play a probability game. So if you were to say, oh, my RSI is oversold, oh shoot, I might have been saying overbought the entire time. Just for clarity, if it's below 30, that means anything down here is oversold. Anything up here is overbought. I might have been missaying that earlier in the video. I apologize if I was doing that. But point being, you can be oversold down here, pop up around to 50, and then you can still go lower. It's relative strength is relative. It's relative to the prices before that were recorded. So these are, these indicators, all of them are pretty limited in what they can actually express. Just a warning to anyone watching, crypto technical analysis or stock market analysis. A lot of these are lagging indicators, and they only really can tell you so much. But here's a good way to sort of visualize what's happening to Bitcoin. This is BITI, Bitcoin short, and as you can see, we'll put this on the daily. Since August, you've been making lower lows very consistently on your short. Now, if this trend continues, if you continue going up, which, the trend is your friend until the end. These lines are really cool to look at and to use for reference until they don't work. And trust me, they fail all the time. So everything's very relative. Everything's very speculative if you're trying to do this. I'm not trying to convey to you that I have some sort of secret sauce. But you can see that the Bitcoin short has been, it's been going up. Even if you take it from the initial crash back in June, you're still kind of up a little on the short. Now, this would, express to me that the short is probably going to keep heading on down up this way, which if the short is going up, that means the price of Bitcoin would continue going down. Now, obviously, that's just speculation. Here's a cool one that I found that if you track Bitcoin, you might want to take a look at. I don't know how accurate this really is, but this is Bitcoin volatility provided by BitMEX. I know BitMEX is a big exchange. Now, excluding this giant drop-off right here, maybe they changed how they calculated stuff. But if you understand volatility, the more volatile a stock or an equity or a crypto is trading, the more it's going to be going. It's going to be going down more. I guess you're going to be losing value. So as you can see, Bitcoin volatility is up, and then the price is down. So maybe if you're a crypto guy, this would be a good metric to sort of measure when you should buy and sell. You obviously, if volatility is going down, that means price is probably going up. If volatility is going up, that means price is going down. It's kind of like inverse there. And you can see on your volatility, on your moving average, convergence, divergence, you're gaining strength. Now, what happens if this pops above zero? The moving average, convergence, divergence. If this pops above zero and you have a volatility spike, okay, maybe not that big, but if you get a volatility spike, that would mean Bitcoin's going to crash again. And let's take a look at the data. Okay, the short value is going up, Bitcoin is making lower lows, and your volatility is on its way up and gaining strength. Okay, so now that would tell me that Bitcoin is in for another reckoning. We're not trying to, on this channel, we're not trying to feed you any fucking lies and bullshit like most of the crypto industry is, because it's full of fucking shills and assholes, as you've probably come to learn. So here is the total crypto market cap divided by the S&P. You can see, as I was saying before, the trend is your friend until the end. This trend line right here, you were making nice consecutive bounces and tests and bounces and bounces and tests until you don't, and it doesn't work anymore. So anyone doing technical analysis, maybe you do it yourself, just understand that these things, work until they don't, and that's kind of the point. The market is a chaotic beast, and it really is designed, to kind of screw you over as fast as it can. Thinking you can predict and beat the market is just so arrogant. So I really want to dispel any of that. Now let's do a bit of macro since we're at 12 minutes already. Let's look at the yield curve. All right, what is the yield curve? This is the interest rate that the United States federal government, the central bank, provides on the liquidity of the dollar. So now why do I have the US? So if you look up here, you got the US 2-year divided by the US 10-year. So why do I have this up here? Every single time your yield curve inverts, which means if we visualize the curve of yields, they should look something like this. So here would be your 3-month, there's your 1-year, there's your 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, I think there's a 7, 20, 30. You get what I'm saying. If you hold a bond that long, or a treasury, sorry, excuse me, I might be misspeaking there, but if you hold one of these things that long, you should be paid more, right, in interest to hold it for that long. If you're going to hold something for 30 years, you should get more than holding it for 2 months. That's just kind of how yields are supposed to work when you're borrowing something. Right now, what we have is an inverted yield curve, which means you have short-term rates. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Excuse me. So you have short-term yields higher than the long-term ones. So that means, here's your 2-year, there's your 1-year, there's your 2-month right there. You get what I'm saying, on down the line. So as you can see, anytime the 2-year is above the 10-year, you have an inverted yield curve. And historically, when that happens, after yields uninvert, that means once the Fed is done tightening, which, believe you me, they're going to tighten way fucking longer than anyone thinks, because inflation is still so high. Once the yields uninvert, that's when you see the big crash. Right now, we're just playing in the sandbox. We're just kind of going back and forth in a structural bear market. Let's see if I can add this to compare, and then we'll look at the S&P, and then we'll try and turn on the monthly. Oh, that didn't work. How about the weekly? Okay, so as you can see, yield curve inverts right here, yield curve inverts right here, yield curve inverted right here, and here you are right now. Every single time the yield curve inverts, you get a market crash. Every single time. And this time, it inverted and the crash already started. Usually a crash comes afterwards. See? Came after there, came slightly after there. But here, you're way ahead of time. People think equities are going to fucking rally. or those snorting hopium and copium are. But trust me, this is a plot by your centralized banks and governments to completely destroy the world economy so they can take over and insert their socialistic fucking techno-fascist fucking bullshit so they can control you and so they can make you eat fucking bugs. Let's be real clear about that. So this is, here was stage 1, Plandemic. Here's stage 2, global reset. Yields are going to uninvert and stocks are going to go the fuck down here. I don't care who you are. That's the historical precedent. If it doesn't happen this time, I will eat my own words and I will come on here and I will tell everyone how wrong and how misinformed and stupid I was, and I will own that shit. But for now, this is where I stand, and this is where this is kind of what I want to make you aware of. So let's see, should I cover anything else? Let me know in the comments if you guys want some specific stuff covered. Let's see here. So stocks are doing really well right now, which is kind of why I wanted to point this stuff out, because you have the Dow and equities doing really, really well. God, get this off. Really, really well lately. I mean, look at these candles. These are weekly candles. I mean, these are big weekly candles. I mean, that's an 18% rally on the Dow right there. It's my opinion as a chartist that you're probably going to test this area and then head down that way, because that probability wise, I would say that's more in favor, because if you take a look at your moving average convergence divergence, your MACD, last time you came up this high, your MACD started to get tired, dropped below this orange part, then you went back down to the other side. And remember, what goes up must come down. The trend is your friend until the end. So right now, this trend line right here is super cool. If you would have bought like a Dow stock, or like a Dow ETF, every time you hit this trend line, you would have made money. And the trend is your friend until the end. So that's all fine and dandy until it's not, and then you lose your shorts, like everyone in Bitcoin and Terra Luna and all the other bullshit crap in crypto right now. Where was I going with that? So yeah, so your MACD took a little rest right here, but you're heading even higher. But what I'm saying is, once your MACD finally fizzles out and gets below this orange line, wherever that may be, maybe it just keeps going up on here, and you're just completely out of the water, and you just keep going soaring, while the Fed keeps raising interest rates and global economies are collapsing, which is highly unlikely. But once this moving average crosses under here, which maybe it doesn't happen for a while, but once it does, because what goes up must come down, the trend is your friend until the end. Once that happens, you're going to get a whole nother crash. You're going to get a whole nother down this way. And when that does, I will be hedged properly. I hope you are too. But this, the Dow could literally bounce around and do crap like this for literal years. I don't think anyone understands how structural the World Economic Forum and world governments are trying to destroy shit. I mean, this is a total currency reset. This is a total reset of all the wealth. Here, this is a good explanation of what I'm trying to highlight. If you live abroad, maybe you've seen this. So Russia announces 12 more countries want to join the BRICS. If all are accepted, BRICS will have 50% of the world population, an even larger share of commodities such as oil, gas, and metals. Now, I can tell you the reason they're forming this alliance is because these fuckers over here have had hegemony on the world currency for years, and they disrespect other nations. They disrespect the Bretton Woods Agreement. They make, their money worth nothing. And this is coming from an American citizen. The dollar is based on nothing but debt. There is nothing in the fucking central bank that represents the dollar besides the United States' ability to issue sovereign debt. And what are you seeing right now? You're seeing countries like China and I believe Russia as well. They are dumping U.S. treasuries. They are dumping U.S. debt because they know there's nothing fucking backing the dollar except the hopes and copium of the fucking sheeple masses over here in the United States. Meanwhile, all these guys across the world are building a new central bank digital currency that they can use to trade oil and gas and everything else. All the commodities. And that goes back to this Bitcoin shit. They're not going to fucking use Bitcoin. You think they're stupid enough to use Bitcoin? They're not choosing your fucking unregulated Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever the fuck that is, currency. They're going to build their own currency, get away from the dollar, and they're probably going to fucking base it on oil, gas, and gold. So why would you be buying Bitcoin right now? People are probably like, oh my God, Bitcoin's so low, I can finally afford it. Oh my God, I'm blah, 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 it's going to save me. Obviously, this is, we're a little biased because we're on Wall Street Silver right now. Shouts out to you if you are on Wall Street Silver. Pretty cool. Didn't know this was a subreddit until now, but anyways, the precedent is being set. They're gearing up to totally fuck everyone over. Be prepared. All the glitters are not gold. They're coming for your balls. They're coming for your fucking house. They're gonna make you eat bugs. Even if the equities are pumping right now, I think you're just going to see a bigger fucking crash next time. So, fuck wokeness, fuck Joe Biden. What else? I don't know what else. Peace out. I hope you can gain some skills to protect your family while they're trying to ruin the planet. Peace.